Hey there, Laurier football fans. Dan Polischuk here for another coach's update alongside head coach Michael Faulds and linebacker Josh Connors. And we're coming off a very important win because it sends Laurier to its third straight Yates Cup appearance this Saturday against the Queens Gales. And coach, how excited is this team right now? You're built up to this moment, and now you have an opportunity to repeat as provincial champions.
Yeah, we're really excited. You know, it's one thing to go to the Yates Cup. It's another thing to go back to the Yates Cup as champions from the previous year. And I said it way back in January that our biggest obstacle as a team in 2025 was everything that we did in 2024. But this group knew that it was going to be a new team. We were going to have a bullseye on us because of everything we did last year. And each and every week, our coaches, our players showed up. So to be back in this position once again is special.
Now, Josh, I turn to you because coming in as the Defensive Player of the Week for Laurier Football, you put together an outstanding performance and locking down this victory. Bit of a nail-biter at the end. It was winning by 7 points. But what was it about this Guelph team that really presented a challenge for you guys?
I would say the speed. Like I said, they were a great team. We knew they were a great team. We played them at the start of the year, but just the speed between the quarterbacks. And then, again, playoff football. Playoff football is hard. November football. All those bumps and bruises you got, they start to feel a little bit better because everyone's looking forward to the end goal, which is the Vanier. I know we got one more step ahead. We got a great team this weekend playing against Queens. Again, we played them earlier in the year, so should be a good game this weekend.
Yeah, it's a Queens Gales team that the Golden Hawks beat in week number 3 up in Kingston, so a bit of a rematch against that squad from Kingston. But this isn't going to be your first foray into a provincial championship. You transferred over from St. FX at the start of this year. You've been to a couple of Loney Bowls. How is this maybe going to be a little bit different playing in a Yates Cup now?
For sure, this is something I've looking forward to. This is my dad went to Laurier. He always wanted to play in the Yates Cup, never did. So obviously got the experience playing in the Loney Ball, new conference, different teams. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna be great this weekend.
What can you say about Josh coming over to this program? You mentioned before we went here on camera that this was a player that you recruited beforehand, ultimately decided to go out east. But the fact that he stayed connected to Laurier is ultimately here now. How big of a boost is that?
Yeah, it's one thing we talk about as a staff is although we want every single recruit to sign off and want to come to Wilfrid Laurier, we say we're going to hear no, then we hear yes. But it's super important for us as a staff to end these recruiting relationships on a positive note, knowing that one day, whether it's because of a transfer, it's because of grad school, it's because a player wants to come back to their home province, that you've ended that relationship positively so that they think of you when they're looking for a new home. And that's exactly what happened with Josh. So we couldn't be more proud of him. Obviously, he missed a good portion of the season with an injury. So the fact that he's back healthy again for the playoff run is special, knowing the grind that he had this year to get to this point.
And not to mention, it rounds up a really good linebacking core right now for the Golden Hawks. To have that extra veteran presence, it's got to be something else. Pretty good feeling, right?
Yeah, like you've got Ethan Gregorczyk, you've got Jesse Wilkins-Flaherty, and adding Josh Connors to that list is special. And it's more than what he does, at the linebacker position. I know both Coach Daly and Coach Robichaud were chomping at the bit to get him back onto their special teams, and he was absolutely a force on special teams on Saturday. And then, as you mentioned, he was also our Defensive Player of the Week. So to be able to add this player at this time of year is pretty special.
Now, Josh, talk about the connection that Coach Faulds touched on, the familial connections. Your dad played here. Was that a big factor in terms of coming back to Laurier essentially after the 3 years out east?
For sure. Laurier was somewhere I wanted to go to high school, and obviously I decided to go a different path. So when I decided to leave St. FX, Laurier was top of my list, and having a coach like Coach Faulds, who's a guy who just wants to win, a guy who is willing to do anything he can to get to that Vanier Cup is a no-brainer for me to come here.
Yeah. And now you're pursuing, after football is all wrapped up, a career in firefighting potentially. Is that right? And how will this maybe put you in the step in that direction?
I think, again, firefighting is all about teamwork. So being in that environment with football, with the guys in the locker room, I think that helps me become a firefighter. I still got a little bit more school to go to get there. But, yeah, I think for sure being part of Laurier football, I think there's been a bunch of guys in the past who've come through this program and ended up becoming firefighters. So definitely going to reach out to those guys after the season's done.
Now, Coach, we've got this matchup coming up on Saturday. It's the Yates Cup, it's the Queens Gales, but two very different teams from that Week 3 matchup we alluded to earlier on. How is this Queens team different in your perspective and the coach's perspective going into Saturday's game?
Yeah, well, they haven't lost a game since that week 3 matchup. So it's a great football team. They're well coached. Their quarterback, Alex Freakin's playing at a very high level. They've got some standout players on defense led by their middle linebacker Pace. So we know they've got the athletes, they've got the system, and they're highly motivated coming off of that win down in Windsor. So we're going to have a team come in here excited to be in the Yates Cup. We're going to have to play our best football as we know we are going to. So it's all about our process this week, our practice, our good habits.
You stay healthy through this rest of this playoff run too. It's been an up and down season for you too, but you're feeling pretty good now in terms of this home stretch and being on the field for the rest of it.
For sure, I'm excited because last time we played these guys, I got hurt in the second drive. So this is definitely a big game for me, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the stretch we got going.
And you have the athletic pedigree to keep that going here too. Maybe touch on that with the connection with hockey and lacrosse a little bit too. Football necessarily wasn't your only sport growing up.
No. I played hockey, played lacrosse. I got my brother who plays in OHL for the Sudbury Wolves. My sister plays university hockey down at Ontario Tech, and then got my little brother, 10-year-old. He's just starting off now too. So yeah, it's a big sports family. And then again, my dad played football here, and my mom actually played basketball at Seneca College. So it's a big sports family.
I guess we'll wrap up, and we'll have OUA All-Star and major awards announcements later this week. But just in general, Coach, if you could just talk about this group in general. You're not always on individual recognition, but what can you say about what makes this group so special this year?
Yeah, first off, we're proud of our guys, but I'd say we'd always start training camp meeting with saying ego is the enemy. Let's try to do everything in our power to have team success and go 1-0 each and every week. And a byproduct of teams winning a lot of games is getting individual recognition. So I'm proud of our guys that do receive these individual awards, that they're more concerned with our team success, but also super happy for them because, I think of when they're standing on stage getting these awards, all of those early morning runs, all those workouts, all the sacrifice and commitment they've given to this football program. So to see them get those individual accolades is special for us coaches.
And hearing that, Josh, and final word to you, does that reinforce your decision to come here to Laurier ultimately and what could be your last year in the OUA?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, when you have the group you have in the change room, everyone has the same goal. So going back to my injury, it just makes you want to come back, makes you want to work harder. And it's just being in that change room, great group of guys, great coaching staff, all with one mindset, one goal. It's no-brainer to come here. So, yeah.
Well, it would be no-brainer to come here on campus on Saturday. We've got FanFest going on starting right here on the grounds of University Stadium at 11 a.m. Free to attend if you don't have a ticket, but tickets are still available. You can get yours for the 117th Yates Cup at tickets.laurierathletics.com right now, but be sure to do that quickly because they're bound to go quickly in the next couple of days. Make sure to visit laurierathletics.com for all your latest Laurier football news and give this video a like and subscribe. So for head coach Michael Faulds and linebacker Josh Connors, I'm Dan Polischuk. Go Hawks, go.